Hello and welcome everybody to your week 5 video lesson. This is English 108B and we're in unit 2 working on our media project starting this week. So as you can see, we have a new PowerPoint background. So what is going on this week during week 5? You have a 2.02 figures of speech lesson on Monday. You have a 2.03 lesson on Tuesday, a reading. You have a catch-up day on Wednesday, a 2.06 lesson on Thursday, and another catch-up day / start working on your media project on Friday. As always, we have Class Connect sessions on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. and your special Super English invitation only class at 2 p.m. on Thursdays. And you have your week 6 video lesson coming up next week. But for now, we're in week 5. So what are we going to cover in this video? We're going to introduce Unit 2. We're going to talk about the 2.12 media project. We're going to define literary devices with examples, and we're going to talk about symbol, metaphor, simile, and personification. So let's get started. So just to remind you guys, Super English is our special class by invitation at 2 p.m. on Thursdays. So Super English is an extra special session of English 108B. Every week, a new group of students are invited to participate. Sorry, my highlighting is all over the place today. So a new group of students is invited every single week to participate in this special help session. If you're invited, you'll see this in your schedule, and you'll also receive an email invitation. So if you are invited, it is super important that you come because you can get lots and lots of help through those special help sessions. It does not excuse you from Thursday morning classes. This is super important. So if you get invited to Super English, you still have to come to class on Thursday morning. You just have an extra class on Thursday afternoon. So we hope to see you there if you're invited. And if you're not, don't worry, it doesn't mean you're being left out. You might be invited later. It's because we like to change up the group and make sure that we have people there who need help and people there who are, interested. So if you're interested, you can always email us and let us know. All right, moving on to Unit 2. So in Unit 2, this is the assignment we're working towards. It's the 2.12 Media Project Assignment worth 50 points and due on May 4th, 2022. May the 4th be with you. That's a Star Wars reference. This assignment will not look like any of the other assignments that you've done so far. So if you're kind of bored with the whole writing a paragraph, writing an essay thing, this is the project for you. So you're going to create a presentation about a place that is important to you. You're going to create a presentation to help your audience experience the place as you do or as you would like to experience it. So for example, if my place is going to be the beach on Tahiti or wherever this picture is from, I'm going to describe this place, the beach at Tahiti, the way that I'm experiencing it. So I'm going to talk about the sand in my toes. I'm going to talk about the cool water. I'm going to talk about the trees blowing in the breeze and all of those kind of things so that you can experience it as well. So don't worry, you will not have to present your media project to the class. However, if you want to, you can let us know. So that's Unit 2, that's what we're working towards. And once again, this is going to look totally different than the things that we've done so far. It's going to be either a video or a PowerPoint presentation. So what does this mean? In Unit 2, you will be creating a PowerPoint or video presentation about a place that is important to you. So you're going to describe the place to me as if I have never been there before. So like I said, imagine I have never been to Tahiti, never been to the beach on Tahiti. Describe it to me as if I have never been there. So think of it kind of like a travel brochure. You're making it enticing for me to want to go there. And here are some important dates. And we will be referencing these all throughout the unit. We'll talk about it in class, and you'll even get time to work in class. So it might seem like, oh man, this might be a little overwhelming. Don't worry, we've got it broken all down for you. So your planning document is gonna be due in week 6, and the final is gonna be due the week after that. So you've got some time, but you can start thinking about it now. All right, one thing that is super important to this assignment is literary devices. Literary devices, or lit devices if you abbreviate it, are techniques that writers use to convey meaning to their audience. So they're ways that we as writers allow our audience to feel the things that we're feeling, see the things that we're seeing, and experience our writing, not as if we're reading about it, but as if we're actually there. So it could be special descriptions, it could be word patterns like alliteration or consonants. It could be unique punctuations like an exclamation point or a question mark or an ellipses, so the dot, dot, dot. Or it could be anything else that helps the writers get their message across. So like I said, it helps the reader be in the scene, in the moment, in whatever it is that you're writing about. Instead of just reading about it, we feel like we are there. So why is this important to you? Because in Unit 2, you're going to be using literary devices to describe your place to the audience. So that's going to be us, your teachers, or your classmates if you choose to present, which you don't have to. So once again, imagine that we know nothing about this place that you're going to describe. So you have to describe it to us using details, using images, and using literary devices. So let's talk about a few. Okay, so first up we have symbols. A symbol is something that stands for something else. So think about an apple, you give a teacher an apple, and that is a symbol. So when you see an apple, you think of teachers, or maybe you think of Washington State, because apples are very common in Washington. When you see, I'm not sure what else. When I see a flower, I think of Hawaii because lots of flowers grow here. So they might be words, images, that's the wrong color, words, images, objects, actions, or characters that represent something other than what they are. So an apple is not a teacher, but apples make us think of teachers. Hawaii is not a flower, but flowers make me think of Hawaii. So when you see a symbol, it makes you think of what that symbol means. So here's my examples over here. So the 5 rings of the Olympics are not the Olympics, right? They're just the rings, or the flag that has the rings on them. The Olympics is the actual event, the days of practicing and performing all of those amazing feats of sports athleticism. So the 5 rings of the Olympics are a symbol of the Olympics. They're not the actual thing, but they're a symbol that represents them. The Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom and hope to many people. So a lot of people who immigrated and came to the United States and passed by Ellis Island would come and they would see the Statue of Liberty, which used to be a lighthouse. And it would be like, oh my gosh, we're finally here. We're finally in the United States. What an amazing thing. We've made it. So for a lot of people, the Statue of Liberty represents freedom and hope. A lot of people just kind of think about New York because it's also a symbol of New York. Also, apples are a symbol of New York. The Big Apple, if you've ever heard of that, New York. So that is symbols. They are something that stands for something else. A metaphor is a comparison of 2 things that are not the same. So it's when you take 2 things that are totally not alike at all, and you put them together and you say these things match. So in a metaphor, these 2 things are linked using the word is. And you can think about it as a metaphor just is. So notice I have that word here, is. So the ocean is a mirror. Poli Poli, which is a place right by where I live, is a cold, foggy breeze. So the ocean is not actually a mirror, right? But it looks like it, because look, you've got all the clouds reflected in there, and you've got the sun over here. The ocean is not a mirror, but it looks like it. Poli Poli is not a cold, foggy breeze, but it reminds me of one because it's cold and foggy up there. So remember, a metaphor is a comparison of 2 things that are not the same, and they're linked using the word is. A simile is also a comparison of 2 things that aren't alike, but in a simile, the things are linked using the words like or as. So think of it as simile looks like a smile. So remember, a metaphor just is, and simile, like smile. So here are two examples. My cat is as fluffy as a pillow. My cat is not actually a pillow, but my cat is as fluffy as one. Seattle is like a strong cup of coffee. So those are two things that are not similar at all. Seattle is not a cup of coffee, and my cat is not a pillow. My cat's a cat. Seattle is Seattle. But these two unalike things are being linked using like or as. So when you think simile looks like a smile. And when you think a metaphor just is. And personification. So in a personification, non-human things take on human characteristics. And that sounds kind of weird, but just bear with me. I promise you it's pretty fun, but it's kind of weird to begin with. So in a personification, things that can't smile or laugh or feel emotions or any other human things do them anyway. So when you say, the clouds are smiling at me, or the grass looks happy today, or anything like that, you're putting human emotions and human characteristics into something that is not human, right? Grass isn't human, the sun isn't human, the sun is the sun, and grass is just grass. But when we do that, we personify them. We put a person into them. So here are two examples. The sun smiled down on me, and the clouds looked hopeful in London. Clouds are not hopeful. I mean, maybe they are. We should maybe ask them one day, hey, are you hopeful clouds? Are you rain clouds? I don't know. But when we do that, it's personifying them. It's a personification because we're putting a person into the thing. So just to recap, literary devices are techniques that writers use to convey meaning. So you, in your project, way down the line, you're going to be using literary devices to describe your place to the audience. You're going to bring it to life by describing it to us using a simile, a metaphor, a personification, or a symbol. So literary devices breathe life into your writing. They make it come alive. And that in and of itself is a literary device. So a literary device doesn't breathe, right? So I personified it by saying it breathes life into your writing. So there you go. Those are literary devices, and that is why they are important. All right, so what did we talk about in this video? We introduced Unit 2, where we're going to be talking about literary devices. We're going to be talking about the media project and also creating something for a specific audience. We talked about the Unit 2 media project 2.12. Remember, the first assignment for that is the planning document. It's not due until next week. And then the final is going to be due the week after that. So you're going to have plenty of time to work on this, and we'll talk about it a lot in class. And we defined literary devices with examples. So we talked about symbols, we talked about metaphor, we talked about simile, and we talked about personification. So we did everything we needed to do today. Woohoo! All right, everybody, that was your week 5. I think it's week 5. Your week 5 video lesson. I will see you all on Tuesday at 9 a.m. and on Thursday too. And keep an eye out for an invitation to Super English, because when you see that, you want to jump at it and you want to make sure you come. So I will see you all later. Bye!